why don't diets work?
Yeah, why don't diets work? Okay, so this is a big topic. So let's give the 30,000 foot view first.
Sure.
Of course, some people will go on a particular diet and find an improvement, right? So when we say that most diets don't work, what we mean is the research is quite clear that in terms of that it shows for most people in the long term, diets don't work. And I say to people, right, every January, it's a cliche that new weight loss books are going to come out. I get it. I'm part of that cliche, right? Because I'm releasing this book and it comes out in the new year. But I would like to think, and I would bet, that it is different from every other weight loss book that's going to come out in January. Now, I could be wrong. I hope there are more like it. But from what I can see so far, there aren't. Now, when we say diets don't work, I passionately believe that if you are someone who's trying to improve your health, you can go into your supermarket or onto Amazon or wherever you buy books and pick up any book. And if you follow the plan for 2 or 3 weeks, you're probably going to feel better. You know, because there's a lot of restriction, there's a lot of deprivation, there's a lot of, can you drop a dress size in 2 weeks? Yeah. But you know what? From seeing patients over 20 years, I'm not convinced that anyone really wants that. Because most people who have success on a short-term diet, most people, not all, I will say, by March, they're not only back to where they were, they're worse off than where they were. Yeah. So it worked in January when they're raving about this diet. Oh my God, this diet's phenomenal. You've got to get this. It's like the secret of the diet book industry, right? By the time you figure out that actually a few months down the line that it's not working so well, it's already been a big bestseller and it's made back at its advance and it's done really well, right? And I say that not with condemnation and judgment, I've just observed that over and over again because I see the patients who come in March and April who tell me what happened in January, and I see where they're up to. And not only is their weight up and their health worse off, but they've damaged their self-esteem. They feel like failures. They blame themselves. It's the only industry where if something doesn't work, we blame us. We don't blame the diets. We don't say that's the wrong approach to me. We're like, no, we're failures. And that's why I start the book. The introduction, I'd like to think is very powerful, where I go, this is not your fault, right? I explain, you're not weak. You don't have a lack of willpower. You are living in an obesogenic environment. You're living in an environment where everything around you is pushing you to put on weight. It's not about willpower. You could take hunter-gatherer ancestors who are trim and put them in 2020 or 2021. I reckon 60, 70% of them would become overweight because we didn't suddenly become weak and lacking willpower in the 1980s when obesity rates started going up. No, the world around us changed. Now, I don't want that to be powerless for people, right? I get it. It's a hard environment. It would be much easier if the environment around us made the healthy choice the easy choice. And I advocate for system change with that, but that's going to take time. And I think we can also help people understand the little things they can do to make their own environment work for them. So, I don't know, do you know the Whole30 diet?
I don't. I'm not sure I do.
It's massive in America. It's one of the first paleo type diets. And one of the co-authors, Dallas Hartwig, is a really good friend of mine. He's no longer with the Whole30 because there's many reasons. I don't want to speak for Dallas, but for him, it was never about a diet. It was about an experiment, right? For 30 days, just see how good you could feel. Just understand what the food choices you're doing each day are doing to you. Just see what happens when you eliminate certain things, what your life is like, your energy, your sleep, your libido, your mood, right? Just observe. And then afterwards, let's figure out how to kind of integrate the things that you want into your life. It's not meant to be a kind of, this is Whole30 approved, this is not Whole30 approved. And it's really interesting that I think diets can work if you use them as self-experimentation to go, is this way of eating compatible with me, my ethical beliefs, my cultural beliefs, and my lifestyle? Because frankly, if it ain't, you're going to find it hard to follow in the long term. So it's, the point is, mate, you can go and look at studies, right? So I am diet agnostic, right? I believe, and I don't like the term low carb diet because I think we're denigrating a macronutrient in the way that we did the same thing for fat. So, but it's not that I don't think they can work. When I helped put that lady into remission from her type 2 diabetes on Doctor in the House, I used what would be called conventionally a low carb diet. Now, I don't use that term because I don't like it. And I think it's here. See, I love simplicity, right? And here's the clash for me. Can you be simplistic and also true to the science? And that's hard to do sometimes, because when you simplify, sometimes you lose the factual accuracy. But I think one of the reasons low carb diets are so successful for certain people is it's a very simple message. Okay, carbs are the problem. I cut down carbs. Boom. This is what happens. And I think, really, I think it comes down to ultra processed foods. I think that's the main problem in society because they make you eat more. They are energy dense and nutrient poor. So you eat them, you don't feel satisfied. You want to eat more of it. It affects the hormone leptin in the brain, and it makes you want to eat more of these things. There's addictive-like qualities to them. I sort of go through all of that in the book. But the point is that if you go on a low-carb diet, most of the junk in our food supply are highly processed carbs. So actually, people who go on a low-carb diet, is it the fact that they've cut the carbs, or is it the fact, or is the bigger factor that they've cut out most of the highly processed junk, right? Because there are societies in Japan, like Okinawa, where they have 80% carbs, right? And they are healthy. They're not overweight. They're not insulin resistant. They're not type 2 diabetic. They live to 100, right? In really good health. So we can't say it's just the carbs, but it could be carbs in the context of our Western lifestyles, right? So there is complexity there, but there's also simplicity. So you can have a trial on, there's something called the Broad Study, right? One of the best studies I've seen on nutrition and weight loss. And it was a whole food plant-based diet. Some of the best 6-month results. And the point I'm trying to make, without getting too, I don't want to be confusing, the conclusion is different diets work for different people. Just because your best mate lost weight on a keto diet, right, and is thriving on it, great for your mates. It may be brilliant for your friend, but that may not be the right approach for you.